So we'll give it a shot. It's a good thing there's sunglasses involved. I want to take a moment and first of all say thank you, a sincere thanks on behalf of my family, for everybody attending and for adopting this vision, and particularly for adopting the tenacity it takes to succeed in something like this. Chris, our brother, my younger brother, lived life for 47 years. It was do or die. There was only two ways to do something, and that was it. Jim mentioned that his love for nature, for hunting and wildlife. Chris loved work, and he embraced life, and he got every single ounce out of it that he possibly could. How many 19-year-old B students looking to transfer college in 1981 talked about renewable energy, specifically wind and solar power? How many 33-year-old bachelors took a chunk of what they earned to a large insurance policy only to earmark a portion of it to a government? Actually, to a government in a state that he only lived in for a brief period of time. He had a vision well beyond his years and well beyond what anybody could see. We all grew up in Nebraska. In Nebraska, they say there's no place like Nebraska. Well, I'm here to tell you, Chris knew that there's no place like Iowa. So for 47 years, it was do or die. He ran 17 marathons. He entered a relay race at the University of New Hampshire when he was an undergraduate that dictated that the teams run 2 hours a day for 17 straight days. He entered it himself. He got second place. The track coach comes to him and says, "Please join us." He looks at his schedule and says, "I got class when you guys practice. I'm good, no thanks." He hunted and fished and worked and built all over the world. For 47 years, it was do or die. And on May 5th, 2009, he died. Well, kind of. But what they said he died of was something called cardiomyopathy. In layman's terms, that means that his heart was too big. And I'm here to tell you that people don't die from having hearts that are too big. So what happened on that day was that the true spirit of what we'll call renewable energy in Chris's life was born. And renewable energy isn't wind or solar or geothermal. Renewable energy is the inspiration that you put in one another and people that you bring together in the course of your life. And that's what Chris did. It wasn't intentional. At that point in time, the Pella family got to know the Desjardins family. We barely knew each other existed because Chris was very private in that regard. We also got to know the Iowa family. And I want to acknowledge some people that had an impact on Chris's life. To change one life is to change the world. And there were several people throughout the course of his life that changed his world. The first one I'll mention is a man named John Clay. John was 30 years, Chris a senior. He took Chris under his wing as a 13-year-old kid that showed an aptitude and interest in running. And every day, John and Chris ran together. And it wasn't what they did, it's how John treated Chris throughout that point in his life. We grew up in a single-parent family. Our father was halfway across the world serving his country for the predominant period of time that Chris was growing up. John became that father that was close to him, and we can't thank him enough. The other individual I'd like to thank is somebody that we refer to as one of the other brothers in the Desjardins family, and that's Mike Hum. Mike, can you raise your hand? Mike is the guy that helped shape Chris's love for the outdoors. Hunting, fishing, nature. They even developed their own language. So Mike, thank you very much for being a longtime brother with Alex and the Santos, a brother of ours. The third person that I'd like to recognize is Jim Meyer. You heard from him a few minutes ago. He's a tremendously polished, professional person we'd never met during the period of Chris's life. But he probably left some things out about Chris. Chris was pretty challenging. He didn't break the law, but but he also didn't follow any rules, and he didn't follow any conventions. He was hard on problems and easy on people. He had to be hell to manage. So Jim, thank you for seeing in him what you did during the course of his life. It doesn't go unnoticed. He wasn't for everybody. But that didn't matter. He was for us, and we're so glad that he was for Pelham. Finally, I want to thank a new part of our family. And this, I'm going to probably lose it during this part. So, the folks at the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, and at the time the Office of Energy Independence, what a cool name that is. Now the Economic Development Authority, helped define for us what public service and public trust is. First, I want to mention Shelley Peterson. Shelley